Many years ago, in a distant land, lived a very powerful girl called Kamsi. Kamsi had a secret power that nobody knew about, as she knew things even before they occurred. Kamsi was born deaf and dumb, and she could only communicate with people through sign language. Kamsi's mother died whilst giving birth to her, leaving her alone with her father. When her father remarried, her stepmother believed she was possessed by a dangerous spirit, and her father had to send her far away to live with her late mother's brother and his wife. Kamsi lived with her uncle and his wife for so many years, and they loved her so much. One hot afternoon, Kamsi was weaving some raffia when she suddenly had a strange feeling. Kamsi ran towards Mazin Duka's house and hurriedly lifted his little son from under the tree. Immediately, two big coconuts fell to the ground where the little boy was sitting, and the people around were in shock. They began to look at Kamsi in a very strange way, and she could feel the tension all around her. By the time Kamsi got home, some elders were with her uncle, and she wondered what they were discussing at that time of the day. Kamsi continued to weave the raffia when suddenly she felt some hands grabbing her from behind. She began to struggle and make some mumbling sounds, as she could not speak or hear what was going on. The men took her to the forest of good and evil and dumped her there. In the village, it is rumored that when an evil person is taken to the forest of good and evil, the evil within the forest grounds would consume the person whole, and that the person would not be allowed to leave the forest. If after 7 days a person survives the forest, that person will be deemed innocent of all the accusations levied against them, and they would live peacefully in the village. Nobody in the village has been able to survive the forest of good and evil, and the thought of this sent shivers down Kamsi's spine. Kamsi was now in the evil forest all alone. She began to walk around the forest, trying to figure her way out. Filled with so much fear, Kamsi began to cry, wondering what she had done to deserve this. Night came, and Kamsi was even more afraid of what could happen. She sat by a rock, shivering as the forest was cold. Then she felt something approaching her from behind. She turned but didn't see anything. Kamsi stood up and began to run deep into the forest. She ran for a few minutes till she saw a hut in the forest. Kamsi quickly ran towards the hut, hoping to meet someone who could save her from the evil forest. There she saw a very beautiful woman, and something strange happened to Kamsi the moment she laid her eyes on the strange woman. Kamsi began to hear the woman's thoughts. "What are you doing here, my child?" the woman said. And Kamsi, through her mind, responded that she did not know why the villagers brought her to the forest. The woman laughed and told Kamsi, "Your powers scared them, as they have not seen anyone like you before. They believe you to be evil, but they are wrong." Kamsi then asked the woman who she was, and the woman told Kamsi that in due time she will find out. The woman then brought out some food and water and gave Kamsi, as she knew she would be hungry, but Kamsi was too afraid to eat or drink. Night passed and it was now morning. Kamsi woke up and noticed she was lying at the edge of the forest entrance. She was out of the forest and did not know how this happened. All she could remember was being offered food by the woman in the forest. Kamsi did not know what happened after that. Kamsi was very happy to be out of the forest alive, but what she did not know was that her village was currently under siege. The enemies had gained access into Kamsi's village and were currently killing men, women, and children. There was blood shed everywhere, and houses and barns were also being set ablaze. The whole village was in commotion, and Kamsi could not believe what was happening. Immediately, a power came over Kamsi, and her eyes were now like the flaming fire. She let out a scream, and all their enemies began to drop dead one after the other. After a few minutes, everywhere was calm. Kamsi noticed she could now hear and speak. She did not know how she did what she did, but at this point, the villagers were all calling her their great protector. Kamsi rushed to her house, but found her uncle and his wife in the pool of their blood. The raiders had killed them both, and Kamsi's heart was heavy. Even the ruler of their village was dead, and the people decided to crown Kamsi their next ruler because she saved them from their enemies. The news of all that happened spread across the neighboring villages, and no one dared to raid their village ever again. Kamsi became the most feared human in all of the land, and the rulers of the neighboring villages began to send gifts and treasures to Kamsi. One night, Kamsi was in her hut when she suddenly saw the strange woman from the forest. "You have done well, my daughter," she said, and Kamsi asked her what was going on, as everything that had happened was still strange to Kamsi. It was at this point that the woman revealed to Kamsi that Kamsi was born to be the great protector. Everything leading to this point was predestined. Even when Kamsi was sent to live with her uncle and his wife, it was predestined to happen. Then Kamsi asked the woman again who she was, and it was then that the woman revealed that she was Kamsi's mother, who was banished from the village immediately after giving birth to Kamsi. Kamsi's mother also had great powers, and the people were frightened of her and banished her from their village. She wandered around for many days, and no village agreed to allow her access into their village, as her story had spread far and wide. So she wandered from place to place till she heard that her daughter was sent to live with her brother and his wife. Then she decided to settle into the forest of good and evil, as she knew that once the people found out about Kamsi's powers, that they would send her to the forest to determine if she was of good or evil. Kamsi's mother waited patiently in the forest for years and became the protector of the forest, as no evil in the forest was able to match her power. She was so powerful, but nobody told Kamsi the truth about what happened to her mother, as all she knew was that her mother had died whilst giving birth to her. The food and water given to Kamsi in the forest was to amplify her powers, which was dormant all these years. And that was how Kamsi was able to defeat their enemies with just a scream. Whilst Kamsi became the protector of the land, her mother was the protector of the forest. The lesson to be learned from this story is that everything in life happens for a reason. Oftentimes, bad things happen to us, but we are unaware of the bigger picture. Try to be grateful in whatever situation you find yourself, because it might just be your stepping stone to greatness. I hope you enjoyed the story. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps us grow our channel. I'll see you in our next story. Bye.